operation from the Kohler Connect app. As you can see here, morning bath is pictured. Just being able to press start on something that you already have saved. It's a little bit blurry, so I apologize about that. But just being able to click start on your phone gives you want for your morning bath. Voice activation is also compatible. So we've talked about this before with Kohler. That is Google Home, Amazon Alexa, and
Hey,
Apple.
Mitch?
Yeah.
Mitch, I know that with the storms and stuff, it's a little variegated, but can you just speak up a little bit?
Oh, okay. Am I too quiet?
I think just some people are hurrying. I just muted everybody, so I'm hoping that helps. But we just got a comment on chat that it's harder to hear.
Oh, okay. I apologize. So just remote operation starts with your phone. The top left picture shows just an example of your morning bath routine that you would have set up on the app. Just being able to click start with that. As you get out of bed, that starts exactly the shower that you have designed for yourself as you're getting up in the morning. Voice activation is also compatible. So that would be Amazon Alexa, Google HomeKit, Apple HomeKit, and the Google Home. So as you see here, it says morning bath. Being able to voice command that and say, Alexa, start my morning bath. That gives the same command as if you were to open your phone and press the start button there. So different ways to use the product. And then, as we talked about before, being able to loop that into a smart ecosystem and say, Alexa, start my morning bath. Not only does that apply to your shower, but maybe it opens your toilet seat, it sets your mirror to a certain lighting, and it turns on your favorite radio station. All of that being able to combine into one experience is when smart really starts to show its value. And then the most important thing is that in order to have all of this capability, you need the Connect module, the DTV Plus Connect module, which is shown in the bottom left corner. So it's a simple plugin, like we talked about before. The system controller, which is pictured on the bottom, it has 8 ports that are available. This Connect module plugs into one of those ports, and that's what allows it to be voice activated and connected with the app. Moving on to Moen and their U by Moen system. So we talked about U by Moen faucet. This is the U by Moen shower. This comes in a 2 or 4 port valve. Kohler doesn't offer the 4-port option. If you want 4 ports, that would require buying the 6-port valve and then only using 2 of them, or only using 4 of them. So that's a little bit different here. It is push button control as opposed to the touch screen. That is the DTV Plus. In terms of what's on the market, DTV Plus and U by Moen are the 2 comparable products in this space in terms of what they can do on the smart ends of things. So that's push button as opposed to touchscreen, which some people prefer. Some people would rather have touchscreen. It's really personal preference, which when you're selling things allows you to kind of differentiate these products. And then the integrated smart home capabilities offer app and voice control like we talked about before with the DTV Plus. The only difference with this now is that with the DTV Plus, you need the DTV Plus Kohler Connect module. That's not necessary for the Moen. When you buy the interface and the valve, it has the capability to connect to your phone or your speaker without that extra addition. So this is a picture of their 2 and 4 port valves. As you can see, hot and cold water coming in on the bottom, and then your ports going to the valves coming out on top. And these are all designed to fit within, the studs of a wall, in the basement, underneath your cabinet, in your bathroom, anywhere that is most convenient for your plumber or you to get to if you want to do maintenance on them. This is a little bit of an interface of the app. As you can see on the left, the power button turns it on. Up and down arrows control temperature. This would be an example of a 2-port valve, so you have control of the handheld shower and the overhead valve. And then it's a little bit tougher to see, but in the middle of this, or the bottom of the phone screen, but in the middle, there's a star, and that says presets on it. That's where you can design your own presets. So the U by Moen valve allows you to have 2 personalized presets on the interface. But on the app, you can design really as many as you want. And so that allows you to voice activate more than just two of them. So the 1 and 2 that are on the controller might be, husband shower and wife shower. But then I want one for post-workout. I would just title that post-workout, and I can voice activate it by saying that. So a little more added value than just the 2 presets that you can establish on the controller. So general things to consider. The difference in installation and where does the digital valve go. I'm going to quick hop to the next slide to cover these. So this is just a nice picture to see the difference in installation and how it looks behind the wall. So this would be 3 outlets. Mechanical PVV and the mechanical T static are pictured, as opposed to the 3 outlet DTV prompt. The valve can really be put anywhere. So right here, it's rather close, but the DTV prompt comes with a 20-foot extension cable. So the valve can be 20 feet away from the controller, whether that means it's in a closet nearby or right below the bathroom in the basement, whatever's most convenient for you. It allows for easier plumbing behind the walls. And I've been told in the past that it doesn't make sense to have these kinks, which I'm not a plumber, but that makes sense to me. I didn't make the picture. This can be really plumbed as efficiently as possible, and you don't have to deal with lining up valves behind the wall with handles to turn them on. It's just a much simpler and cleaner look in the bathroom. Technology does not necessarily mean a bigger price tag. So when we hear digital valve, some consumers, or maybe even some of us, think, well, that's automatically going to cost more money. So that's when we jump to this. For the DTV 2-port valve for prompt, if you're comparing it to the purest trim, it's less expensive in this case. So we're very comparable in price, which is important for consumers, because when we talk about faucets and toileting and toilet seats in the previous weeks, that added technology is going to cost you a little bit more. But in the showering space, you can have a very comparable price when it comes to some of the offerings that are available. So that's the 2-port valve being a little less expensive, then the 3-port valve being slightly more expensive. But when you're talking about the added value that it provides, accurate temperature control, being able to establish presets, warming up your shower, water saving ability, all of that, the added price is often justified with the value that it adds as well. So the next general thing to consider, understand zones and ports and how to create the most effective shower layout. So if you have body sprays, don't make the body sprays like port 2 and port 6. Like, try and make it intuitive and make sense. And also, if you have real rain from Kohler, that has to be on port 1. So like, that's helpful stuff to know when you're installing this and designing your shower. Also zones, whether it's custom or you can fit them into what Kohler calls an A or B. That's all kind of stuff that needs to be considered beforehand, before you just say, oh, that looks pretty, we can plumb it however we want. Having the conversation and saying, let's make sure that this works properly, so that when it shows up on the interface, we don't have to mess around with tweaking things in order to make it look nice. It's going to show up the way we want it to, and your shower is going to function in the way that makes you the happiest, or the consumer the happiest. So just understanding that in the best way possible and not having to fix problems on the back end. The importance of giving your shower, it's an IP address. So this is mainly for DTV Plus and the U by Moen. And this is kind of getting a little technical, but it's important to understand that in order for your shower to stay up to date with the updates that these companies are putting out, or to have connection from your phone or voice activation with your smart speaker, the system needs to have an identity. So that requires it being plugged into oftentimes a router. And that allows it to essentially be on the same network as your phone or as your smart speaker. So if it doesn't have this identity, it still works as a shower, but it's not up to its full capabilities. And a lot of that has to do with technical jargon and stuff that gets a little more complicated, but just knowing that the shower needs to have an identity in order to work at its full capacity is something that's important to understand and set up when we're installing these systems. Product capabilities now versus what they will be by the end of this year or even in the future. So I was on a call with, or on a training with Kohler last week, and people have complained or at least expressed the need for less words to command these showers or faucets. So when you say, Alexa, tell Kohler to dispense 1 cup, like that can be a mouthful and take a long time. Kohler now has it where you can say, Alexa, pour 1 cup. So they've established that, which is nice. And now they're in the process of establishing it for their showers as well. That has to do, once again, with those two companies getting on the same page and just having an overarching command that commands one thing as opposed to calling out the specific company in order for that command to occur. So what these products are now is going to improve by the end of the year, in 2 years, all of that. And it's going to be, if you buy it now, you won't miss out on that. You're able to receive those updates through the product. So that's important to know as well, that you buy a shower now, it's going to improve as these companies improve their products as well. So final thoughts, 1 + 1 = 3. This was another thing that was discussed by Kohler on the smart call that they had, and it doesn't make any sense in terms of math, but when you're talking about the smart home space, as we've talked about already, having one product and combining it with another doesn't just give you one added value, it gives you a ton of added value. So even just in the bathroom space, as we talked about before, if you say, Alexa, start my morning shower, and only having your shower, that's awesome. Like that's a great value case to have, and it'll start your shower on that voice command. But as you add, say, a smart toilet seat, or a Verdera mirror, or smart lighting, or smart music options, being able to say, Alexa, start my morning shower, add in one other item to your bathroom adds a whole list or other value cases that don't just lead to one improvement, but many improvements. So creating that ecosystem is when you really start to see a ton of added value for our consumers. And then the technology space is only going to keep growing, and we have resources that set us apart. So COVID, Corona, the virus that's going on right now that's completely changed our world, it's not a temporary change. People are going to change the way they live their lives, and a lot of that is going to be focused on how they interact with the world around them, the products around them, especially in their own home, not wanting to bring home germs or take germs from their home out into the world. These are the products that are going to allow them to do that. So if we can focus on that and understand that this segment is going to explode as this Corona either settles down. I don't really know what the right word is, because I don't think anyone knows what the future exactly holds. But this space, this cleaner living, products that you can talk to instead of touch, that's just going to become more and more popular. And in terms of what we have available, it sets us apart from our competition. My position is solely focused on all the products that we've talked about so far, not only today, but the past few weeks. I have a direct line to the Connect team that's at Kohler. We have great relationships with Moen and Delta. The products that you've seen us talk about are only going to improve, and we offer more resources than a lot of other companies out there in a space that's going to really take off in the near future. So know that, and don't shy away from this technology. Embrace it. And really learn as much as you can about it. Use me as much as you can as a resource, and it's going to show in growth areas for your individual stores or for your companies. So I'll answer some questions now, whether any have been asked in the chat, or if someone wants to chime in with your voice as well, feel free.
There's one, and I can actually answer this one. Is the LED screen fog and steam proof? It is. So I can for sure attest to that. I have the prompt in my steam unit, and I couldn't live without the prompt just because I love getting in and setting my temperature to 100 every time I get in the shower. So I never have to look at it. As soon as it stops blinking, it's there, and it's the best.
Yeah, and I'll also add to that. So with the DTV Plus especially, it's a touch screen. And I always tell our internal people when you're talking about the DTV, you're wanting to show it to somebody, to be patient with it. It's not designed to react to your touch the same way your phone is. It's not going to be an immediate, take you to the next page. If you give it a deliberate touch with your finger, it might take half a second longer than you're used to with your phone, but it has processed that command. And the reason for that is because of the environment in which it exists. So water droplets on the screen or your finger being wet, you have to give it a deliberate touch in order for it to receive that command and respond to it. So that's something to know beforehand, is that the touch screen from the DTV Plus is not going to respond the same way your phone does, but it will respond the way you want it to.
Mitch, we have another question. Does the
Yep.
Steam need to be hardwired to your home's router, or can it just be connected to the network wirelessly?
So a lot of times, so the Steam system can be connected to the valve. There's a port that allows Steam to be connected to the valve. So I don't think it wouldn't be connected wirelessly. None of this stuff is really connected wirelessly because the system controller is connected to your router. So in terms of wireless, a lot of that has to do with your phone communicating with the system. But the actual product itself needs to be either wired to the system controller or wired to a router.
So it's basically, it's connected to the brains, but
Yes,
not
exactly. Like
the piping.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Don't be shy.
I forgot to add this before. So I mentioned the DTV mode allows for like one system controller and the power button. The DTV prompt, you can have two of the interfaces. So maybe one inside the shower and one out. Those two interfaces will control the same valve. And then the DTV Plus, you can have up to three. So one inside the shower, one out, and maybe one by your bed, that sort of thing. They all have the same presets on them. They all control the shower in the same way. Just more options of where you can turn the shower on. Sorry, what?
I have a question whenever you're done. Sorry.
No, you can ask it right now.
Okay, so if I want a Kohler prompt, but I like the Delta Brizo faucet better,
Yes.
can I do that?
Good question. And Tanner mentioned this to me earlier in the week, so shout out to Tanner as well. Forgot to mention it right away. If you have a Kohler DTV system, but you like Delta's fixtures or Moen's fixtures, you can use those. The fixtures don't know that the command is coming from a Kohler product. The fixtures aren't smart. So whatever you find to be the most visually appealing or fit into your home, install that. The brains behind the whole thing, whether it's a Kohler DTV system or a Moen system, that doesn't matter. Whichever one you think fits best for your shower, you can mix and match fixtures with the shower systems. Does this, not the Steam, the system in terms of giving it its own IP address? Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, Joe. So, I guess, did I read that as Steam instead of system? I apologize for that. So yes, the system needs to have a cord running from the brains of it. Like we talked about, the picture that I showed of the Kohler DTV system controller, that needs to have a cord running from the controller to a router, if that answers your question. I apologize if I read that.
No, you shouldn't apologize. I should. I can't read.
Oh, okay.
So my apologies to everyone.
That would just be the DH. Yeah, so just your typical cord that, first off, it comes with the cord, so you'll know what it is. But yes, the DHCP cord. Are these products outlined in the presentation, or are all of these products outlined in the presentation available now? Yes. DTV mode was the one that was released most recently, but everything is available now. I know a lot of our showrooms got the DTV mode, at least the small display that it is. But a lot of our showrooms as well have working displays also where you can test mowing, clear out. It's all available on the market today.
All right. I believe that's it. Any other questions? We're happy to answer. You certainly have my email and Mitch's. Mitch, did you give yours on this presentation? I saw that. But I'm happy. There you go, right there, the tech team. So thank you, everyone. We will be having our next one. We'll come back in, we're taking a week off. And then in June, we're going to talk about outdoor dining and what kind of materials, for instance, like Decton. So we'll be featuring Decton on that day, and we'll be talking about outside. So thank you very much for joining us, and have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.